Thank you, Cassidy. So we're going to call to order the Downtown Belmont Development Association meeting this April 6th, 2020. And we will start out the meeting with the approval of our February minutes since our March was canceled. Do we have a motion to approve the February minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as distributed.
Thank you, Sister Nancy. Mark, is that you? Unmute.
I'll second, Liz.
Liz is seconding. Thank you, Liz. All right, all in favor? I see that.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right. So the motion, the minutes have been approved, and we're going to move on to the staff report, Phil.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple of items, and it kind of deals with the budget, and some of that we'll get into more with Mark's report and with Angela's chair report. In looking at the DBDA budget and what's happened, we do have, and we can see the actual dollar amount when Mark does his committee report as far as money that has come in. I think we had 3 or 4 applicants that paid for the Belmont Blooms parade, which we will need to refund. And so that's just an FYI, because we will not be having that parade. So I feel like we'll need to return that funds, but I think it was only like $75 or $100. One other item I failed, and we can actually, Angela, I think we'll cover that when you in your chair report when you're talking about some of the other items as far as doing a refund. I have been communicating with our Friday Night Live sponsors, those that have already given their money and those who have not. We've actually had a few more sponsors inquire about our Friday Night Live concert series. I've let them know that pending the crisis that time will tell with what happens to our Friday Night Live concert series, but that we were in the conversations and early planning of a relief concert, which would be even probably bigger notoriety for them. And so they're all excited about that. And so they're all still thumbs up about maintaining their sponsorship. So none have asked for a refund. So that's good. I think that's all I have for my staff report, unless there are any questions.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Good news to hear about the sponsors' reactions and support. That's great news. So if there are no further questions, we can move on to the treasurer's report, Mark.
Okay. If you look at your financial report, there's also another page to this that shows revenue sources. I just wanted to call your attention to that. The outstanding deposit is a Friday Night Live sponsorship that came in this week for $500, giving us a total balance of $27,348.25. The total allocated funding is $14,359, and Angela is going to discuss this after my report a little bit further with you guys. The Friday Night Live contractual obligation is going to look different as this whole crisis thing plays out, and we decide what we're going to do with the remaining concert. And it's already been mentioned about the relief concert, and Phil and I will update these obligations as we can do that. Uncollected Friday Night Live sponsorships is $27,000, which is of which $20,000 is from the city. The projected total balance is negative, but I think that's going to change with the contractual obligation update as we get further along with things. Keep the Lights on Business Relief Fund has approximately $1,300 so far. So anyway, that's pretty much it. If Angela, if nobody has any questions, if you want to discuss some more about the allocated funding programs.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. So with the St. Patrick's Day bar crawl, if I can bring your attention to that line item, we had, to bring everybody back, this happened right at the time that I think the guidelines and were coming out for everyone to not to gather. We had planned a St. Patrick's Day bar crawl. That the way that worked is that there really wasn't any. It was planned in such a way that the businesses would each provide a certain amount of money based on whether or not they were a primary sponsor or just participating, and that money reflected their position for that. And all of those people that committed equaled the costs that we were going to have for creating these T-shirts and our promotion of that. So we were able to get some of those funds in. The deadline for those funds was not before the creation of the T-shirts, so the DBDA ended up fronting the money for the T-shirts to get those created and get those out. And then after that, with the guidelines that came down because of COVID-19, it was recommended that we withdraw from support of hosting that. And sort of officially withdraw, and our volunteers did not participate. Some of the businesses still wanted the T-shirts, which had already been created, and so those were provided to them. So some businesses chose to still hold the St. Patrick's Day bar crawl, but it was not through participation with the DBDA at that point. So what happened is we ended up having some of the businesses had already paid their money up front, and some of the businesses still, because of the timing, had not yet paid. And we ended up with having $1,350 in payments from the businesses to go towards the T-shirts, but that didn't make up the cost of the T-shirts because everyone had not paid. And so ultimately the cost that DBDA paid out was $5,400. To see what we want to do is to see if the board is good with sort of telling the businesses that have not yet paid what they pledged to pay, just sort of absolving that and not asking for it, and if the board would be okay with refunding the money, the $1,350 for the businesses that did pay, and just working this cost of $5,400 into something that the DBDA will make up. So I wanted to pose that to the board and see if everyone would.
Angela, I think if you're going to absolve them, you would about have to refund. I mean, they may say, okay, we're fine. You don't need to refund us, but I think that option needs to be given to them as well. That's just my opinion.
Yes, that would be the plan, to do both, to refund money as well as not require the people who had not given money, not go after them still for money at this time. So, does anyone have any comments about that or thoughts about that?
Well, Angela, if we're going to absorb this is Emily. If we're thinking of rolling concerts into one all-day relief, will that save us money on the stage and the setup costs?
Yes, it would, as far as the stage rental. But again, If we have a couple of stages around town, but I think that overall, yes, we would actually save some money as far as those operations. And maybe even get some of the stage and those operations donated as part of the relief fund efforts.
Okay.
So we do need to have some bigger conversations as we're aware of, this is Angela, as we're aware of what we're able to do safely, about more ways to fund our program, because the Friday Night Live concerts were a big, that was a big source of the funding that we developed beyond our sponsorships. And this relief concert, I think, is not going to be money that just comes to the DBDA. This is going to be towards a downtown Belmont relief fund. I think there is still some discussion. There needs to be some portion throughout our program, whether it's a portion of that relief concert or it's other concerts, depending on what we're capable of doing, of still being able to make money. That's the part that's kind of missing right now is our clarity on how we're going to make money. But I'm optimistic and confident that with this group we can figure that out.
And so I do want to note that $5,400 has been paid, and it is already deducted from the account balance of the 2,700. So it's not like that we would have to then, that would not reduce our current account balance down to, 2,200. It would, so that is that 5,400 does reflect being, subtracted from the account balance.
Okay.
Does anyone else have comments, questions, thoughts? Does anyone want to motion to, what's the wording for that? Motion to refund the $1,350 to the businesses that have had paid for the St. Patrick's Day bar crawl, that the DBDA
And forgive debt that those who still owe for the St. Patrick's Day crawl.
yes, forgive debt.
I'll motion that we do that.
And I'll
Forgive the debt.
This is Liz, I'll second.
Okay, is all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, so with all in favor, it looks like that has carried. Thank you all. I think that's important.
And Angela, yeah, you're going to cover the refund of the Belmont Blooms parade applicants as well.
I need you to cover that one, Phil, because I'm not really as clear on that. If you would step in.
Okay, so again, the Belmont Blooms nighttime lighted parade, we did have some applicants that paid their participation submittal fee. And so you see under the allocated funds, that's $75. So that was 3 applicants at $25 each. And so I would need the board to make a motion giving me approval to refund those applicants.
Yes, so moved. Jim.
Shelley, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is any opposed? Okay, thank you. So that motion is carried. And then the final thing I think we were to talk about in regards to funding was with the virtual 5K. So as Sister Nancy had mentioned, we're going to be offering a gift package. You've been told that that attracts a lot of runners. Just to know there's a little something there that you can get. So we're approaching Gaston Go to see if they would donate a gift package, and it's certainly our intention to try to find it donated. Because this is something, an event that's going to come up in about 16 days, we wanted to ask the board if they would be willing to back funding for a gift package of up to an amount of $300 to ensure that we can go ahead and start promoting this event with a prize package. Our intention is also to send, or Phil will, once we've composed it, we'll forward a letter to the businesses in case any of the businesses wish to donate some small amount of gift card just in order to help encourage traffic through their doors, so to speak. So we'll kind of see how all of that comes, sorts out to make sure it's suitable. So I'm not sure even if we had to use the amount would be $300, but I was just asking, using that as a starting place. So we have.
This is Phil. I'd like to make a proposal, but it's totally up to the board to decide. We have received, as Mark mentioned, our DBDA Business Relief Fund, and I know that's a whole separate conversation. This board will need to decide upon how that money is distributed once we, bring in more money, and also how the relief funding from the concert series, how that money is to start distributed. But since we do have right at $1,300, of which a lot of it came from, this board that made donations, and so since this money is to ultimately go towards our businesses and supporting our businesses, would we want to use a couple $100 of this to go buy business cards from our businesses? Because that's what this business relief fund is for, to support our businesses. Use some of this money to go ahead and go buy prepaid, business cards from our businesses for the prize pack. In return, the winners are going to use those at the businesses and hopefully spend more money. So hopefully maybe doubling these efforts. Just a thought.
Phil, this is Angela. I have a question. How would you choose who you're purchasing the gift cards from?
Well, I think a priority would be those restaurants that are currently still open. Because they're the ones that are really trying to, make ends meet. And I know that some of them are losing money. I know that yesterday, Cassie and I popped into the Everyday Market to get a coffee, and through conversation with Majid, he is losing money every day that he's open. He knows what he needs to make to break even. We had that conversation, and he's not meeting that. So he basically said, I'm losing money every day by staying open, but I want to do it for the community. So I think, just off the top of my head, I think we should try to support the businesses that are currently, open. But, again, that's just a thought to, how we can get some of this money into their hands. And so buying gift cards, I feel like is the way.
I think some of the businesses who are unable to be open at this time would want to participate as well. So I think we need to, I know for us, we would probably donate a gift card that they could use in any of our businesses.
Okay, this is Angela. So what I'm hearing is that the guideline for this is that it would be downtown. We would take, if it's $300 or whatever portion of that money, we take it and we look at all of the Main Street businesses that are currently opening that have some sort of gift card device, and we would disperse that between the businesses, that money between the businesses in some sort of divided way. Is that how we would operate that?
That was just a recommendation, so the board can decide if we want to use the relief fund to go ahead and start putting some money into the hands of the businesses, or if we want to use, DBDA revenue and not touch the relief fund.
Wasn't part of the money to be used to purchase koozies for the quote unquote runners? That was in Melanie's proposal that she sent to me yesterday.
Right. But I think the thought behind that was that the money the money that to cover the cost of the koozies at like $1 and something, some change, would come out of the runners entrance fee.
Entrance fee. Yeah, the entrance fee is $25, and I think the koozies are under $1.66 per. So really, it'll only take 33 entrants to cover the cost of that. And we're hoping to have some koozies left over that could also be, sold at our concerts or whatever to make that back up. So does would
Question. Because everything is, I guess this is a concern I have, because we don't know where things are going, and right now we've got this negative balance. I'm just concerned about using the DBDA funds for this, and feel like that maybe the relief might be a better avenue to go down at this time. That's just my opinion as the treasurer.
Okay, so can I, would it be fair at this point, unless then anyone else has any other thoughts or suggestions to make, anyone like to make a motion?
Actually, can I chime in real quick? I just had an angel make a $300 donation toward this, a personal donation. So
Thank you to whoever that was. I'm assuming they're on this call. Thank you.
I assume they're on this call.
everyone that's on this call are angels, but yes, once stepped up and so I will split that with that angel. So we're good.
Thank you.
So no motion needed.
Very nice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So before I tear up because you guys are awesome, anyone else having new or old business to discuss? Well, just
Say one thing about I'm going back just different, but the St. Patrick's Day, I saw a lot of green t-shirts out and about town that day. So we may be eating the cost of the shirt, but we were definitely, people participated somehow in that event because there were a lot of them floating around.
And I'll say that that was one of the first times that a lot of our business owners came together and really collaborated and worked together. Am I even okay? I had to make sure I was even. Y'all could hear me. But the spirit of the collaboration between some business owners was magical. I think that is going to pay dividends in these businesses working together for future events. And so I think it is a huge win for our community. I think our businesses are going to be very appreciative of this. So thank you. I'm sure they'll be extremely happy when I tell them that their debt is forgiven or we're going to refund the money. I may actually give them an option instead of a refund. Do they want to just pay this towards the next bar crawl because they are wanting to have a series? And so if it's okay, I'll get those 3, 4, 5, that actually paid the $13.50. If they want a refund, we'll issue a refund. Or if one of them says, no, let's just use that toward my payment for the next bar crawl, I will give that as an option if y'all are okay with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you all. You're awesome, and I appreciate you. And is there, if no one else has anything else to discuss, does anyone like to have a motion to adjourn?
I just want to say thanks to everybody, and Angela, you're a great leader.
Aw.
Yes.
Thank you, Liz.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
And so, Angela, I do want to mention one thing before we close. As I mentioned, as far as the relief fund, I know that the conversations centered around Friday Night Live and the relief concert is going to ramp up. I think that the parallel conversations need to be had about how these relief funds will be distributed. So I don't know if maybe the executive board would like to be subcommittee. Maybe you, Mark, Nancy, and Shelley, maybe as a subcommittee, as the executive board would like to start having some general conversations on developing kind of some protocol or some guidelines about how these relief funds will be distributed.
Sounds good.
I think that's a good idea. And I think that in the coming days, I mean, there's a lot of talk right now about, plans that are going to be revealed about how things will start opening up. So I think once we start hearing about those plans, we'll be able to foresee what the needs will be a bit better. So yeah, definitely a good idea. And
Because one thing I would really like for that to come from the executive board instead of some of our subcommittees. I really I think it would be nice for our relief concert subcommittee to just focus on the logistics of planning the concerts and not have to worry about, the money aspect.
I agree.
Okay.
Good idea.
Great.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. A motion to adjourn here, our DBDA meeting. Anybody?
So moved. So moved.
Thank you, Shelley. We have a second.
Y'all rock.
All right.
Art
Thank
second.
you.
Thank you, everybody. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And bye.
Bye.
Great day.
You too.